Good morning and welcome. It's 7:30 in the morning here in sunny Southern California. It's Site B. It's the 28th day of a very tumultuous, controversial, and exhausting January 2023, and I'm drinking coffee. But not any coffee, sponsored coffee, brought to you by Kuso Coffee, my sponsor. If you're interested in a great brand of coffee that is easy and convenient and tastes wonderful, use my coupon as always to get 25% off your next shipment of Kuso coffee. Locally grown, cold pressed, whatever, cruelty free, all the things you say. Okay, so I suppose I need to comment on the SRD thing since everybody else is commenting on it. And is there anything I could say that anybody else has already said much better than me? I doubt it. D&D Shorts commented on it. Tanker commented on it. Big D commented on it. Did we win? We won the battle, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations to each and every one of you. But this war is far from over, because despite everything that they said, the OGL 1.0 is still revocable. All that they did at the end of the day was say, here's 5th edition, you can continue using it. Of course, the fate of 5th edition was never the problem. We know the fate of 5th edition. It's ending in 2024 to be replaced by 6th edition, which will have a brand new OGL and a brand new SRD, and Wizards and Hasbro will continue their drive to get everybody to abandon 5, push for 6, push to get you onto the digital format of 6, and continue the deauthorization of books, continue the translation evolution to the digital format, $30 a month thing that they want. That hasn't changed. All that they've said is, here's 5th edition, go ahead, use it. You were already making 5th edition content. We never said you couldn't make 5th edition content. Go ahead and keep using it. But what about everybody else? What about the people who have made content under OGL 1.0 that isn't 5e? My OGL content wasn't 5e. Mutants and Masterminds isn't 5e. Paizo isn't 5e. Kobold Press isn't 5e. Eclipse Phase, Everyday Heroes, all these other games that, were made that weren't 5th edition, plus the hundreds of OSR games that are emulating 3, 2, 1, and 0, and still technically fall under OGL 1.0, which Wizards of the Coast can still deauthorize. They're still concerned. They still have to worry. So we won the battle, but the war's not over. I do find it very convenient that 24 hours after Critical Role announced their multi-million-dollar, multi-year contract with Amazon, and the fact that Hasbro stock crashed $6, that they would suddenly make this statement. So I'm sure the potential of losing Matt Mercer and company had a lot to do with this choice. Because let's face it, if Mercer and company say no, we're not supporting 6th edition, we're either going to keep supporting 5 or we're going to make our own game. I still hope they're going to make their own game. And if you are a Critical Role fan, you should insist that they leave Wizards of the Coast and make their own game. Because really, if they don't, and they stay with Wizards of the Coast, what they're kind of telling their fans is screw you, which, it's not the first time. So that's the concern. That's concern that all these people who said they're boycotting D&D, they're boycotting the movie, they're boycotting the TV show, that they unsubscribed and, canceled their D&D Beyond accounts will now go, oh, Wizards of the Coast apologized. We can go back. But the hateful content thing is still out there. The orcs are racist thing is still out there. That they didn't take away. All they said is, here's 5. Go ahead. Use it for another year. By the way, you guys know we're still canceling it at the end of 2023, right? I mean, that hasn't changed. Everything that we heard out of Wizards of the Coast, or the way they think about us and the way they think about D&D, and that D&D is under monetized, and that what we really think doesn't matter, that hasn't changed. And what about all the Wizards of the Coast employees who took part of this? Now that Hasbro has acquiesced and said, here, let's take this armistice, here's our agreement, who are they going to take their frustration out at? They're going to take a frustration out on the employees. So all these people are going to lose their jobs probably under the blanket, well, we're firing people anyways, and look, we're about to hire 58 new positions, including a brand new director of D&D creativity. That's you, Crawford. So yeah, all those guys who said we secretly support you, all those guys who leaked, all those guys who jeopardized their livelihood to talk to D&D Shorts and the other big guys, you don't think Wizards of the Coast Hasbro is going to go after them now and go, look, you made us acquiesce? So now, yeah, I understand everybody's happy. I understand everybody thinks it's over. I understand that we have a break to focus back on other things, but this isn't over, because nowhere does it say they're not going to deauthorize the OGL. They're just saying, we're going to leave it alone for now. We're putting everything under Creative Commons, and this is a good thing because now anybody can use it, and we can't change it unless, of course, we change it. But all the things we were concerned about are still there. And now I'm even more concerned that, you know, Paizo will give up on the Orc. Frog God Games will go back. Gini Di will go back. You know, Kobold will give up on Operation Black Flag and go back. And that they'll all just go, oh, we accept your apology. We accept this new 5e. So everything we just invested the last last 4 weeks into, fine, we're just going to give up and come back to you because it's easier. That's my concern. And my concern is the other people out there, all the OSR games, the hundreds and hundreds of OSR games who have made stuff under OGL, like Mutants and Masterminds, because that's probably the most successful. They're not covered by that 5-point SRD as far as I know. Now, apparently, I'm hearing more and more people are saying, well, oh, the SRD, they let us have Beholder. Oh, Strahd's in here. All these things that we never saw us being able to use before are now available to us. And everybody's like, oh, that's so exciting. I can now officially use Beholder, Doppelganger, Strahd. And somebody even said, great, now I can make my Strahd, erotica official. And it's like, yeah, no, because they're still going to come after you because of that hateful, inappropriate content thing that's still out there. Now, was this a mistake? Did they just rush the thing out so quickly that they didn't notice that they were actually giving us blanket freedom to use things that for up to now we couldn't use? Like Beholders, Doppelgangers, Mimics, Strahd, Waterdeep? Or was this carefully placed so that they can a week from now say, oh, we didn't mean to give you permission to use the things that we hold the copyright to, like Beholders. So we need to rewrite this, Shades of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, and reprint it without those things that we gave you permission to use. And then while they're doing that, they can change it. Because let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, they did this before. You're all forgetting the multiple times Wizards of the Coast has thrown smoke and mirrors and distracted us by handing us a cookie so that we don't notice what they're really doing. We can go all the way back to Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition, where they said, oh, there's some editing mistakes. Oh, there's some things we put in there we didn't mean to put in there. So here's a brand new version you have to buy all over again. And in that new version, we hid some new things. What's to stop them from saying 2 weeks from now, oh, we finally had somebody go over it. We read it and we realized we handed you Beholder, which we didn't mean to do because we still hold the copyright to that. So we're going to have to rewrite that Creative Commons and re-release it so we're clear on what you guys can and cannot use for 5e for the next year until 5e dies in 2024. And while they're doing that, they can also slip some other things on there. Hopefully, we'll be so excited reading the new one that nobody will be really upset about, oh, okay, yeah, we can't use Beholders. That makes sense. I guess they made a mistake. and then we will not pay attention to whatever else they might have hit in there. Or it could have been an honest mistake, and they're just giving it to us as a token, and, there's nothing insidious hiding behind it. And I'm just being paranoid. Or they did it on purpose for another reason. This is even more insidious. But if we look at everything we've heard about their plans for 6, it could make sense. What if they said, here, have beholders, have doppelgangers, have mimics, have Waterdeep, have Strahd, because none of these are going to exist in 6th. We know Waterdeep's not going to be in 6th because 6 is system agnostic, world agnostic. We know Strahd probably isn't going to be in 6th because Ravenloft is a specific place. And for 6, we know they're going, focusing on Planescape and focusing on world agnostic. So maybe they're giving all this because they're just getting rid of them. They're saying, yeah, we're getting rid of Waterdeep. We're getting rid of the Forgotten Realms. We're getting rid of doppelgangers and all these other things that people have said problematic. Remember, beholders are problematic. Mind flayers and mimics are problematic. Waterdeep is problematic. Here, take these problematic things, use them, so then people can say, oh, you're using beholders. That's problematic. That's racist. That's inappropriate. And meanwhile, Wizards of the Coast with 6th edition can say, we have eliminated all the problematic images of our predecessors. We are no longer associated with anything with the history of Dungeons and Dragons because we want to present you the new, inclusive 6th edition Dungeons and Dragons that has no way, shape, or form anything in it that was problematic. That's why we gave you the Beholder in 5, because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I know everybody's excited and I know we want to take a break, but let's not forget 5 dies in 11 months. 6th edition is happening in 2024. Everything Wizards of the Coast has planned from 2024 to 2027 is still happening. Everything Chris Cow and Cynthia Williams and Crawford said is still happening. The digitization of D&D is still happening. So yes, please give yourself a clap on the back. Give yourself a congratulations. Take a breath. Let's talk about some other things right now for a couple days before the next round comes, because that's really what Wizards of the Coast is counting on. Wizards of the Coast is counting on all the people to come running back and say, we accept your apology. Wizards of the Coast is counting on Gini D and Mark Holmes to say, okay, we accept your apology. All my, 70,000 followers, you can trust Wizards of the Coast again. Wizards of the Coast is hoping that Matt Mercer and company will go, well, okay, our fans want to stick with you, so we'll stick with you. Thanks for the multi-million-dollar, contract, Amazon. But if we want to keep playing D&D, can we still be in bed with Amazon? Meanwhile, the rest of us are secretly hoping Mercer makes his own system, which he should. I cannot think of any reason why he can't and wouldn't. And finally cuts the umbilical cord with Wizards of the Code, which makes perfect sense. But that's the topic for a separate video. Plus, let's not forget that all of you who are congratulating you and, we did it. Many of you just a few days ago were threatening Wizards of the Coast employees and, making death threats to people like me and saying things like, Hasbro is going to burn your books and you can't play D&D anymore. And you're being persecuted by the ORC. There's even one idiot out there, I've been told, who's comparing himself to Anne Frank and how badly D&D players were persecuted over the past 4 weeks and equivalating the situation to the Holocaust. So let me just remind you, 11 million plus people died during the Holocaust. Nobody died over this. So I have a feeling that guy's going to probably get himself in trouble with the authorities for that stuff. But yeah, now you're the same people who are saying, oh, it's okay, Wizards of the Coast apologize. No. And that's my concern. That's my concern, that all these people who for the past 4 weeks were fighting for this are going to see this little token of peace that Wizards of the Coast has offered us and say, we forgive you, Wizards of the Coast. Thank you for letting us to continue to play in 5th edition for another year. And Wizards of the Coast is going to go, yes, we totally love and respect you. All that stuff William said and Chris Cow said and Blake said and the CEO of Hasbro said, yeah, ignore that. Play in 5th for another year. Oh, yeah, we accidentally gave you Beholder. Yeah, we're not going to try and get that back. I, for one, I mean, not that I was a big Wizards of the Coast fan anyways, but you hold Wizards of the Coast Hasbro stock, OGGM, and all you do is ever talk about them. You're the biggest Wizards of the Coast shill ever. I bought stock because, 1, I knew it was a good investment, and 2, because buying stock and having stock and being a shareholder allows me insider information that I can then relate to you guys, like, D&D 6X scheduled for June 2027. Plus, if I'm going to sell my stock, I'm not going to sell it now. It's down another $6. So yes, congratulations. Give yourself a hug. Take a breath. Go outside and enjoy the sun. We have won the battle. We can take a breather. But the war's not over because Wizards of the Coast has made it perfectly clear what they think of us. So please continue to support the other companies who are making non-5e stuff, non-Wizards of the Coast stuff. Continues to support Paizo and the Orc. Continue to support Cobalt Press and Project Black Flag. Support, Castles and Crusades from Troll Games. Buy 4th edition shit. It's not being affected by this. Support other games. Play other games. Don't let Wizards of the Coast win because that's what they're counting on. They're counting on us to get distracted again. They're counting us to get fractured again. They're going to say, yeah, they had their moment in the sun. We took look. But really what was happening is they were losing money. Shareholders were upset. They had to cut 1,000 jobs. They're cutting 58 jobs at Wizards of the Coast. The deals with China are falling through. They're bleeding money. Their public perception is at an all-time low. Here's this cupcake. Ooh, look at the cupcake. Ooh, let's give them free press. They're humanitarian. This is no different than when, a big oil company has an oil spill and everybody gets upset with them. And then they sponsor an ad where you see some, very attractive people cleaning a duckling. And they're like, oh, they're investing in the money in the disaster they cause. Look at that really attractive guy. Look at that really attractive girl. Look at that duck. We forgive them. Meanwhile, the oil slick's still there. Meanwhile, Wizards of the Coast hasn't changed what they thought about us, hasn't changed their plans. All they've done is given 5th edition a much-needed shot in the arm of adrenaline to go another year, which, we could have done anyways. But now it's under Creative Commons, so now they can't change it. Now they can't enforce their censorship or all the other things. But is that true? I'm not smart enough about Creative Commons to know. I've been told they can change it, and I've been told they can't change it. If they're going to change it, they could use the, oh no, we gave you Beholder by mistake. We're going to have to change that, just like we did with 3.5. And here's the new one. So, yeah, we still have to be vigilant, ladies and gentlemen. But several people smarter than me have already talked about this. And I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. My feelings and opinion of Wizards of the Coast haven't changed. I was never the biggest fan of 5. We know I'm not a fan of Critical Role. I had no plans to play 6 or run 6 or buy 6. I certainly am not going to spend $30 a month to use D&D Beyond. I've given all my 5th edition stuff away to the local library, and I don't plan on replacing it. I'm perfectly happy with Castles and Crusades. So yeah, maybe I'll be alone on an island of people who are just like done with 5e, but I was done with 5e years ago. It was McDonald's. I played it because I had no other options. But at this point, if my choice is play 5e or not play, you know what? I think I've earned the right to say, I just don't want to play. 5e just doesn't do it for me. Never has. It's not D&D. And I don't think 5e ever was written in such a way that truly let 5e be what it was. Because even from day one, everybody was trying to make 5e something it wasn't. But that's the topic of a separate vlog. Okay, so that's all I've got to say. We're going to finish up my Minecraft for today. We're going to finish up Dungeon 24 for the first month today. And then tomorrow, I think I'm going to take a day off and just get caught up on my TV shows. And then we'll be back Monday. So that's it. I'll be back in a couple minutes to finish up the first month of Dungeon 23 and then get that ready to be published on Big Geek Emporium. And then, yeah, my Minecraft run for today is about to go live. So that's it. So join me in a couple minutes for Dungeon 23 completion. And then I'll see you again on Monday. Let's check the things. Let's see. Until they fire both Cynthia Williams and Chris Cow, we cannot and must not trust Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro. And Crawford, yes. They've done nothing to regain my trust, true. Sith Lords? Yes, we are. I still don't care. I do care, but I don't care. I don't plan on buying their products. They are playing us. Why would they care that when they are going to 6th? Yeah, the 6th thing and the Critical Role thing and the D&D Beyond thing, that's still out there. That's not going away. They're still making 6th edition in 2024. I am the OGGM. If you appreciate this nonsense, let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about this ever again, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and help me hit the impossible task of 1 billion subs by the end of the year. Remember, this is my job, so consider supporting me, and the best way to support me is to buy my merch. And most of my merch is over on Big Geek Emporium, so if you haven't had a chance to check out Minions on a Mission issues 1 through 4, they're up on Big Geek Emporium, still under $5. We got slime, we got undead, we got constructs, we got, I don't remember what else I did. More slime. Yeah, it's awesome, and it's cheap. And it supports me, and I'm exhausted. I will talk to you later. Stay vigilant.